Could Africa prevent France from establishing military bases? Numerous may lack the courage to undertake such an action due to the fear of Western powers. However, Diomaye Faye, the recently elected president of Senegal, accomplished it. He is actively reshaping Senegal, with the closure of French military installations marking his inaugural action. Yet, what motivated his decision? Is he not merely a pawn of Western interests? Does he prioritize Senegal's well-being? Let's find out. Many African nations do not want France to have a military base in their nations. But a new nation has also joined this wish, and it's Senegal. Senegal's recent decision to block French military bases has stirred significant geopolitical interest and debate. Prime Minister Diomaye Faye's vocal criticisms of these bases have brought to the forefront issues of national sovereignty, strategic autonomy, and the broader implications for Senegal's foreign and domestic policies. This move marks a pivotal moment in the long-standing relationship between Senegal and France, reflecting a shift in how Senegal views its role and position on the international stage. Historically, French military presence in Senegal has been justified by mutual security interests and regional stability. However, Diomaye Faye has challenged this narrative, questioning the true impact of these bases on Senegal's autonomy and strategic interests. With over 350 French troops stationed in Senegal and foreign garrisons occupying a significant portion of the Dakar region, the presence of these bases has become a point of contention. But why does Diomaye Faye not want France to have military bases? Prime Minister Diomaye Faye's criticism of French military bases stems from a deep-seated concern about national sovereignty and strategic autonomy. For decades, Senegal has maintained a cooperative military relationship with France, with French troops stationed in the country to support regional security and counter-terrorism efforts. However, Diomaye Faye argues that this arrangement undermines Senegal's control over its territory and compromises its ability to make independent strategic decisions. In his public statements, Diomaye Faye has questioned the necessity and benefits of having foreign troops on Senegalese soil. He asserts that the presence of more than 350 French troops, along with the occupation of a third of the Dakar region by foreign garrisons, is incompatible with Senegal's aspirations for full sovereignty and strategic autonomy. This stance resonates with a broader nationalistic sentiment that seeks to reclaim Senegal's independence from former colonial powers. Diomaye Faye's emphasis on territorial control and strategic independence reflects a desire to strengthen Senegal's national security apparatus without reliance on foreign military support. This move is part of a broader push to redefine the country's geopolitical posture and assert its position as a sovereign state capable of managing its security affairs. The presence of French military bases in Senegal has long been justified by mutual security interests, particularly in combating terrorism and instability in the Sahel region. However, Diomaye Faye's critique challenges the effectiveness and appropriateness of this foreign military presence. He argues that the occupation of significant portions of Senegalese territory by foreign troops not only infringes on national sovereignty, but also raises questions about the true beneficiaries of this arrangement. Diomaye Faye's critique taps into a broader discourse about the role of foreign military bases in Africa. Many African countries hosting foreign troops have begun to reassess these relationships, questioning whether they serve national interest or perpetuate dependency and external control. In Senegal, this critique has found a receptive audience with growing calls for greater transparency and accountability in military agreements with foreign powers. So, is this decision only driven by national sovereignty? Beyond issues of national sovereignty, Senegal's decision is also driven by a commitment to regional solidarity and cooperation. Diomaye Faye has emphasized the importance of strengthening ties with Senegal's Sahelian neighbors, expressing solidarity and a willingness to collaborate more closely on regional security challenges. This commitment is particularly relevant given the ongoing security crises in the Sahel, where terrorist groups and insurgencies continue to pose significant threats. By blocking French military bases, Senegal signals a shift towards a more regionally focused security strategy. This move reflects a belief that regional solutions, rather than foreign military interventions, are more effective in addressing the complex security dynamics in the Sahel. Strengthening regional cooperation can enhance collective security efforts and build greater trust and collaboration among West African nations. Faye's stance also positions Senegal as a leader in advocating for African solutions to African problems. This approach aligns with broader continental efforts, such as the African Union's initiatives to promote peace and security through regional mechanisms. By prioritizing regional solidarity, Senegal seeks to contribute to a more integrated and self-reliant West African security architecture. In addition to military considerations, Senegal is pursuing significant economic reforms aimed at enhancing its financial stability and competitiveness. One of Faye's key economic initiatives is the push for a flexible currency pegged to at least two currencies. This policy aims to support export competitiveness and absorb economic shocks, reducing Senegal's vulnerability to external economic fluctuations. The current currency arrangement, where the CFA franc is pegged to the euro, has been a point of contention for many West African countries. Critics argue that this peg limits economic flexibility and perpetuates dependency on former colonial powers. By advocating for a more flexible currency arrangement, Faye aims to increase Senegal's economic sovereignty and resilience. This economic policy is part of a broader effort to assert greater control over Senegal's financial affairs and reduce external dependencies. A more flexible currency could help Senegal better navigate global economic uncertainties and support its long-term development goals. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Another critical aspect of Senegal's strategic calculations is the management of its natural resources. Senegal has significant oil and gas reserves, and Faye has committed to renegotiating existing contracts to ensure fairer terms that benefit the country. This emphasis on equitable resource management reflects a broader push for economic justice and national development. Renegotiating oil and gas contracts is seen as essential for ensuring that Senegal derives maximum benefit from its natural resources. Faye's approach highlights the need for transparent and fair agreements that prioritize national interests over those of foreign corporations. By securing better terms, Senegal aims to boost its economic growth and development, creating more opportunities for its citizens. This focus on renegotiating resource contracts also underscores Senegal's broader strategy of asserting economic sovereignty. By taking a more assertive stance in negotiations with international companies, Senegal seeks to reclaim control over its resources and ensure that they are managed in a way that supports sustainable development. Is that it? Senegal's strategic calculations extend beyond economic and military considerations to include important social issues. Prime Minister Faye has called for Western countries to show restraint, respect, reciprocity, and tolerance, particularly regarding LGBTQ rights and gender equality. His statements reflect a nuanced approach to social policy, acknowledging the existence of homosexuality in Senegal, while emphasizing the need to manage social issues according to the country's socio-cultural realities. This stance highlights the tension between Western human rights advocacy and local cultural norms. Faye's call for respect and reciprocity highlights the importance of recognizing and respecting Senegal's cultural context while addressing social issues. This approach aims to balance the protection of human rights with the preservation of cultural values, fostering a more inclusive and respectful dialogue on social policy. Faye's emphasis on socio-cultural realities also reflects a broader critique of Western influence in African countries. By advocating for a more contextually appropriate approach to social issues, Senegal seeks to assert its cultural sovereignty and resist external pressures that may not align with its values and traditions. And how would the decision have an impact? Senegal's decision to block French military bases has far-reaching implications for the country's strategic posture and regional dynamics. By emphasizing national sovereignty, regional solidarity, economic reforms, and contextually appropriate social policies, Senegal is positioning itself as a more autonomous and assertive player on the international stage. This move signals a shift in how Senegal engages with traditional allies and navigates its relationships with foreign powers. It reflects a broader trend in Africa, where countries are increasingly seeking to redefine their relationships with former colonial powers and assert greater control over their destinies. In the regional context, Senegal's decision could inspire other West African nations to reassess their foreign military agreements and prioritize regional solutions to security challenges. This shift towards greater regional cooperation and self-reliance has the potential to reshape the security landscape in West Africa, promoting more sustainable and effective approaches to addressing shared challenges. And how has France responded to this? The decision by Senegal to block French military bases has sent ripples through the corridors of power in Paris, prompting a re-evaluation of France's military and diplomatic strategy in West Africa. As France grapples with this unexpected move, the implications for both countries, as well as the broader region, are significant. France's military presence in West Africa has been a cornerstone of its foreign policy since the colonial era. Through operations such as Barkhane, France has maintained a significant military footprint in the region, aimed at countering terrorism and supporting stability. The French military bases in Senegal have been pivotal for logistical support, training, and rapid deployment capabilities across the Sahel. In response to Senegal's decision, France is likely to adopt a multifaceted approach. Diplomatically, France will seek to engage with Senegalese officials to understand the nuances of the decision and explore avenues for negotiation. High-level diplomatic talks would aim to address Senegal's concerns about sovereignty and strategic autonomy while emphasizing the mutual benefits of continued military cooperation. Militarily, France needs to reassess its strategic deployment in the region. The removal of its bases in Senegal would necessitate the identification of alternative locations for logistical hubs and operational bases. This could involve negotiations with other West African nations or the enhancement of existing facilities in countries such as Mali, Niger, or Chad. Each option carries its own set of challenges and implications for regional dynamics and France's overall counterterrorism strategy. Beyond immediate military considerations, France is likely to engage in broader diplomatic efforts to reaffirm its commitment to regional stability and counterterrorism. This may involve increased collaboration with regional organizations such as the African Union (AU) and the Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS). By demonstrating a willingness to work within regional frameworks, France can bolster its legitimacy and support for its military presence in the region. Many say all Senegal wants to do is to break free from colonial powers. Is that so? Senegal's decision is part of a larger trend in Africa, where countries are increasingly seeking to redefine their relationships with former colonial powers. This shift away from traditional Western allies underscores a desire for greater sovereignty and self-determination. As more African nations pursue similar paths, the influence of former colonial powers like France and the United Kingdom may diminish, leading to a more multipolar world. The reconfiguration of military and economic alliances in Africa opens the door for new global players to increase their influence. China, Russia, and other emerging powers are likely to seize this opportunity to expand their presence in Africa. These countries offer different models of engagement, often focusing on infrastructure development, trade, and security cooperation without the historical baggage of colonialism. The changes in West Africa's security landscape will also impact global security strategies. Countries involved in international counterterrorism efforts, such as the United States and European nations, will need to adjust their approaches to account for the evolving dynamics in the region. This will involve forging new partnerships, increasing support for regional initiatives, or recalibrating their strategic priorities. Senegal's economic reforms and renegotiation of resource contracts also have implications for global trade and investment. Senegal's commitment to renegotiate oil and gas contracts to secure fairer terms reflects a broader trend among resource-rich African countries seeking better deals with multinational corporations. This push for more equitable resource management could influence global markets by altering the dynamics of supply and investment in the energy sector. Multinational companies may need to adapt their strategies to align with the evolving expectations of African governments. Senegal's stance on economic sovereignty and fair resource contracts could make the country more attractive to certain types of investors while deterring others. Investors who prioritize transparency, fairness, and long-term partnerships may find Senegal's approach appealing. Conversely, those accustomed to more favorable terms may seek opportunities elsewhere. This shift could impact the overall investment climate in Africa, encouraging more ethical and sustainable investment practices. The move towards a flexible currency pegged to multiple currencies supports greater regional economic integration. By aligning its currency policy with the broader goals of ECOWAS, Senegal aims to facilitate trade and economic cooperation within West Africa. This regional integration can enhance the economic resilience and growth potential of the region, making it a more significant player in the global economy. But if Senegal breaks free from France, what changes will be required? Senegal's decision to block French military bases represents a significant turning point in its domestic and foreign policy, with far-reaching implications for regional and global geopolitics. As Senegal moves forward with its strategic vision, several prospects and recommendations emerge that can help the country navigate the challenges and opportunities ahead. This section outlines these prospects and offers strategic recommendations to ensure Senegal's continued progress toward its goals of sovereignty, economic resilience, and social cohesion. To compensate for the withdrawal of French military support, Senegal must invest in enhancing its military capabilities. This includes modernizing equipment, improving training programs, and increasing intelligence capabilities. Building a self-reliant and robust defense force is crucial for maintaining national security and contributing effectively to regional security initiatives. Strengthening collaboration with neighboring countries through frameworks like ECOWAS and the G5 Sahel is essential. Senegal should actively participate in joint military exercises, intelligence sharing initiatives, and coordinated counterterrorism operations. By fostering strong regional partnerships, Senegal can enhance its security while promoting stability across West Africa. While reducing dependency on former colonial powers, Senegal should seek to diversify its international partnerships. Engaging with countries like the United States, China, and regional powers can provide additional support for security initiatives. These partnerships should be based on mutual respect and shared interests, ensuring that they align with Senegal's sovereignty and strategic autonomy. Senegal's proposed shift to a flexible currency pegged to multiple currencies requires careful planning and execution. The government will work with economic experts and regional partners to design a currency system that enhances economic stability and competitiveness. This reform will be accompanied by measures to strengthen the financial sector and ensure smooth transitions for businesses and consumers. The renegotiation of oil and gas contracts must be conducted transparently and with a focus on securing fair terms for Senegal. The government will engage with reputable international legal and economic advisors to navigate complex negotiations, ensuring that new agreements are beneficial for national development and sustainable resource management is critical for long-term economic growth. Beyond resource extraction, Senegal will also invest in diversifying its economy. Developing sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, and technology can reduce dependency on oil and gas revenues and create more resilient economic foundations. Initiatives to support small and medium-sized enterprises (SMEs) and encourage innovation and entrepreneurship are essential for broad-based economic development. Investing in infrastructure is crucial for supporting economic growth and regional integration. Improvements in transportation, energy, and communication infrastructure can enhance connectivity, facilitate trade, and attract investment. Infrastructure projects should be strategically aligned with national and regional development goals, ensuring that they contribute to sustainable and inclusive growth. Does the decision to break free from France prove that Faye is the best leader for Senegal at this time? We have discussed how he wants to change Senegal in detail, so let's do a quick summary on this note. Why he is the best leader Senegal ever will have. Faye's dedication to asserting Senegal's sovereignty is evident in his decisions and policies. By advocating for the removal of French military bases, he aims to reduce the external influence and strengthen Senegal's autonomy in matters of national security and defense. Faye's focus on economic reform demonstrates his understanding of the need for sustainable development and economic independence. His proposals for currency reform and fair renegotiation of resource contracts indicate a commitment to fostering a more resilient and equitable economy. Faye's approach to social issues, such as LGBTQ rights and gender equality, reflects a nuanced understanding of Senegal's socio-cultural context. He balances the promotion of human rights with respect for cultural values, fostering social cohesion and inclusivity. Faye recognizes the importance of regional collaboration in addressing security challenges and promoting stability in West Africa. His emphasis on regional solidarity and engagement with organizations like ECOWAS demonstrates a commitment to collective action and shared prosperity. His leadership is characterized by integrity, transparency, and accountability. His efforts to promote good governance and fight corruption inspire public trust and confidence in the government, laying the foundation for effective governance and sustainable development. Not just this, he also does not see Senegal's elite having ties with France as good. Faye's criticism of Senegal's elite's close ties with France resonates with his supporters, highlighting discontent with the historical relationship between Senegal and its former colonial power. Progressive French-speaking West African commentators and urban youths have been particularly vocal in their criticism of France's influence in the region. Also, Faye's advocacy for Senegal's exit from the CFA franc, despite being a taboo subject in the past, has increased his popularity, with supporters seeing it as a move to reclaim control over Senegal's resources. While the CFA franc is seen by some as ensuring financial stability, critics argue that it perpetuates French control over the countries using it. Faye emphasizes that his stance is not against France, but rather against arrangements that are perceived as unfavorable to Senegal's interests, highlighting complex historical relations between the two countries. Overall, Faye's qualities and commitments make him a suitable leader for Senegal. Do you think Faye's decision to block France's military bases is right? Should more African nations do it? Let us know in the comment section. Is this leader the future of Senegal? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.